Hey everyone, this is Ken, and today we're going to be doing a tutorial on a automatic minecart station. Now what's great about this design is the simple fact that you can literally make this up to 62 different tracks, which is awesome. Definitely more than the average person needs. Now check it out, you're going to notice right away that there's really not much lag in between selecting each button. And even at this large scale, you can see how smooth it transitions between one track to the other. And what I love about this system, it's completely silent, guys. So you won't even hear any noise as you hit each button. So check it out, before we even get to the details, let's pick a random track and I'll show you how this works. Alright, so we got track 39, which is not too bad. Now the second you hit that button, the light's going to go on immediately. Now all you have to do, guys, is go right to the front. And we're going to hit that button on the left hand side. Now it's going to dispense a minecart instantly. Now all you have to do is hit that button and you're going to go directly to that track with no issue. Look at that, perfect. Now the cool thing is, once you're returning back to the station, you're actually going to get ejected immediately with no damage and no problems. Now another feature I added to the system is the fact that that same minecart gets dispensed and put back to its original spot, and we also have a light indication system to let you know when that minecart returns. Now guys, for that actual transportation from point A to point B, we have two different types of setups. You can either set it up with a water system, which is fine, I'm going to show you how to do that, or we can set it up with a hopper line, which is not bad. So I'm going to show you two different methods depending on how you want to do this. Now we also have a trap door over here which allows you full access to manually put in your items or your minecarts in that dispenser in case you don't have any. Which is great because it kind of allows like a little mechanical room, as you could say, to really put your stuff in. So check it out. Say you go inside and you press a button but you completely forgot to pick a location. Now the great thing is you're not going to go to any other spot or some random other location. You're actually just going to make a huge loop around and just go straight to the exit. Now the reason that's in place is because we also have a fully automatic manual reset system the second someone leaves the station. So if this guy's going to track 4, the second he leaves, is going to reset the system so that the next person comes and they could choose whatever they want. Which is great because it prevents any kind of headaches, to be honest. You see? Perfect. Now say for example you get two people coming back to the station at the same time. Now normally the headache is that when that happens, you pretty much will bang into him and go reverse, which we don't want that. But with this system, you will never have that issue because it will automatically break upon arrival. So if we check the redstone right behind the entire design, you're going to notice right away that each section has the same exact pattern. And the cool thing is, it's really not that complicated. We want to make this as simple as possible. So besides actually being very simplified and efficient, you also want this to look just as good as it works. And as you can see, guys, is the same exact pattern in each track. So you never get lost between the style on really setting this up. Now guys, I've actually made a tutorial on a selector panel that you could use 2 to 8 outputs. Now you could use the same exact format for this track system if you only plan on making about less than 8 tracks. It's smaller, a little more compact, and resource friendly. I'll definitely put a description in the tutorial and you might want to build this for the first half of the video. So you have that option. So this is going to be the basic materials you're going to use for this build. You will be needing a block of your choice, some half slabs. You will need some ice, which is optional, some sand, cactus, hoppers. You also need a few droppers, dispensers, redstone dust, redstone storage, repeaters, comparators, redstone lamps, a minecart, power rails, rail detectors, regular rails, and of course a few buttons. Now at this point, guys, make sure you pause the video and have this layout set up before you even start the build, okay? There's going to be a 14 track system, which will be the maximum per section. Now I'll show you how to extend the sections later on in the video. So check it out. That blue line is going to represent the center. You're going to count about 6 blocks going inwards, and you're going to place 1 block in the center. Now from that point, you're going to add 13 blocks on each side, leaving a 4 block gap towards the wall. See? Perfect. Now we're going to go back in the center, and we're going to place 1 repeater going forward. And right behind it, we're going to place a redstone torch, just to activate it. Now that's going to be temporary, because what we're going to do is we're going to add some redstone dust on top of it. And pretty much we're going to place that down from one end down to the other. Fantastic. Now over here, just to make sure that all the redstone dust is working, we're going to place a torch in the front of it, okay? Now that has to be there because that's going to be the reset system, and it's going to allow us to select the panel correctly. Now you want to leave that 1 space gap in between each side of it all the way down till you reach the end. Perfect. Now we're going to delete this torch, and we're going to place another row of blocks parallel to the first row we just made. Then you're going to place some redstone dust right on top of each block. Fantastic. So you should have this kind of layout. Now we're going to create the reset system. So you're going to go straight in the center, delete those blocks, and you're going to delete this all the way down till you get to around this spot. Now you're going to leave that last blue block right there, add a torch with some redstone dust, a block right there parallel to the redstone torches, a torch in front of it, a block on top of it, and some redstone dust right on top of that. And that's going to be the reset system once the minecarts leave the station. Now we're going to go 1 block away from the torches, and we're going to place 1 dropper from one end down to the other, pretty much in front of every single torch. Now in front of those droppers, you're going to place a hopper facing inwards in each one. Fantastic. Now you're going to make sure that in each dropper, you're going to place 1 piece of dirt, okay guys? Or at least 1 item. Fantastic. Remember guys, it has to be 1 item. Alright, then we're going to place each one. Perfect. And the last one. Now right in front of that dropper, you're going to place 1 comparator facing forward. And in front of that comparator, you're going to place 1 block in front of it, just like so. Now, like I said guys, for each section it gets very repetitive, so you're going to be repeating this process to each one. Then you're going to place a redstone torch on top of that block. And once you've done that, you're going to place a block on top of that torch. Now right over here, parallel to the droppers and the hoppers, you're going to place 1 block on top of that redstone dust. Perfect guys. Now right here at this point, you're going to place a block right there and a half slab right underneath. And you're going to repeat that same exact style right across. So the best way I can do it is make a straight line of half slabs and delete the excess amount, which are the ones in between that we're not going to use. Then once you've done that, you're going to extend each half slab 1 more time forward, just like so. So you can have the half slabs literally right on top of the hoppers in this kind of format, you see? Now to get the redstone dust on top of that dropper, you're going to pretty much aim at the half slab and just pretty much click it, and you really just want to aim and have the redstone dust on top of each dropper. And on top of that redstone dust, you're going to place one block. Perfect. Now right over here, you're going to place a block there and a half slab underneath. And you're going to repeat that right across. Once again, you're going to delete the excess amount of half slabs in between. And that's just to pretty much get the layout of it. Fantastic. Now at this point, guys, you're going to place some repeaters going forward all on one tick. Now this does get very tricky depending on how big you really make this, and I'm going to explain that. Now these repeaters right here have to be at certain ticks depending on how many minecarts you plan on making. Now I want to show you a little diagram here. If you plan on making any of these sections with these amount of minecarts, make sure you pause this so that you can have the ticks set up a certain way. So for section 1, all you're going to have to do is leave each repeater on one tick. Then you're going to place some redstone dust, of course, on top of those half slabs. That's going to pretty much activate each system. Then you're going to place a block there and a half slab like so, and you're going to repeat that to each one. Now guys, remember, depending on how big you make this, you will have to adjust the timing for those repeaters, okay? So make sure you go back to that so you can better understand how you want to set up your ticks depending on how many minecarts or how many tracks you really want to set up, okay? Otherwise the system won't work. That's very important, guys. Now right here in front of that redstone dust, you're going to place a block right in front of it. A little block of your choice. And you're going to add some blocks in between. Now at this point, we're going to create the display panel. Then you're going to add another row of blocks right on top of it from one end down to the other. Fantastic. And right here on top, parallel to each one, you're going to add one redstone lamp. That's going to be the light indication system to let you know which one you actually chose or which track you chose at the moment. Then of course, you're just going to add this nice little framework, and you want to fill in the gaps. Perfect. So you should have this kind of layout at this point. Then right over here, you're going to place your buttons. Now from this point, guys, you're going to place a block in front of each redstone lamp like so. And once you've done that, I want you to connect the half slabs straight across with the blocks, okay? And you're going to do that to each one. I'm going to kind of fast forward this a little bit, guys, because like I said, it gets very repetitive. So you're pretty much repeating the same exact one to each line. Now, once you've done that, all you're going to do is place some redstone dust starting pretty much from the top of this block and a straight line to the block with the redstone lamp. Then you're going to repeat that to each one. Alright, so you should have this kind of layout at this point. Now, like I said, guys, make sure your repeaters are on the correct ticks depending on how big you make this, okay? Because trust me, guys, that will mess up the whole system. Now, right here, parallel to the block, you're going to add some redstone dust in a straight line. Pretty much at the back part of it. And see, it's pretty much parallel to each block. Then like so, once again, you're going to place one solid block right on top of it, each block being parallel to each section. You see? Then on top of those blocks, you're going to place your rail detectors. Because that rail detector is actually going to activate that redstone dust once the minecart leaves the track, causing the system to reset so the next person could choose wherever place they want to go. Now, once you've done that, you're going to place a half slab right there, like so. Go 2 outwards and connect that all the way to the front part of the design. Then we're going to repeat that same pattern on the opposite end. So place a half slab there, one underneath. Delete that. And extend that all the way to the front part, well, the back part of this design. And right next to that actual block, you make a straight line from one end down to the other, so you connect with the rest. And starting from this point, you're going to make another straight line right across. Then we're going to make the framework. So you're going to add a few blocks like so. And in this 2 block gap, you're going to add 1 half slab. It's going to prevent any animals or anybody from going inside. So those will interfere with the track. Then you're going to place some power rails right across. And one right there. And right over here, you're going to place a half slab. Because what you want to do is put some levers. Now, instead of using redstone torches, levers are better because they're easier to make. Now at this point, guys, you're just going to connect the tracks just like so in the same exact pattern, you see? You want to create this curvature. Now it doesn't matter how you do it, just make sure you do it because we're going to set that up in a bit, and I'm going to show you how you can determine what's the exit and what's the entrance. Fantastic. Now at this point, just add some power rails right across and just finish connecting that off like so. Now over here, you're going to place a half slab. And once again, you're going to place a lever right on top of it, okay? Delete that. Now, every half slab in between, you're going to place 1 lever and you're going to activate that. Because you want to activate and power each power rail like so. Now, this also reduces the use of having to use redstone torches. And they're easier to make. Perfect. Now over here, we're going to create the framework one more time, just like so. Add that half slab, and you got the exit and entrance all set up. Now at this point, guys, you're going to have to activate each one. So activate each button, just like so, because that's going to update the rails to let you know which direction they're facing. Because it gets real funny depending if it's north, south, east, west. Now by doing this, it's going to let you know which is going to be the exit and which will be the entrance. Okay, so let's activate each one. And let's activate the last one. Let's double check. And as you can see, because that rail is activated, it's actually curved. So let's add our reset button. Now the reset button is quite simple. You can place that anywhere as long as it activates the redstone dust underneath. Okay. Now, as you can see in front of us, you see how all the rails are kind of curved towards you on the left? They kind of curve towards the left-hand side, you see? How they're all leading towards this entrance part. That's going to indicate to you that that's the exit, okay? That's going to be the exit where the cactus is going to be at. So they're all curving like this when the entire system is off. That means that that side is the exit part. Now, this side will be the entrance. Because once you turn, any rail that's kind of turning the opposite direction, you're of course going to go towards that direction. Okay, so if it's curved that way, it gives you an idea what's the exit and what's the entrance. So in this case, the left-hand side will be where you're going to, and the other side is when you're coming back. Now at this point, guys, we're going to place 2 droppers in front of us, just like so. And matter of fact, we're going to have to dig 1 block deep and create some spacing around here. So place 1 dropper there, 1 on top of it, and a dispenser right on top of it, just like so. Before you do that, place 1 hopper on the side of it. And as you see, guys, these are 2 droppers. Don't get that confused with dispensers. Like I said earlier, just place 1 dispenser on the top part. That's the only difference. Because we need that so that it could be automatically shot onto the power rails. Then place one comparator there with a block right there. Let's delete this row right here. Place a block on each corner. Redstone dust right there, and a repeater going towards that block. Fantastic. Then we're going to connect this like so. And at this point, I want you to pretty much delete these blocks on the side of it temporarily, because we're going to need that space. We're going to need this little bit of spacing over here to set our light indication system and our button to really activate the minecart so that it can shoot out. So you're going to place a block right there, just like so, and there, that's where the button's going to be at. So place one block right there. You're going to go right underneath here, place a block there, and some redstone dust like so, because you don't want to activate the power rail, because that's going to activate the minecart and shoot the rail all at the same time. We don't want that. Then you're going to place some blocks like so and pretty much cover up this little section over here. And over here, you're going to delete these blocks. And I want you to place a comparator on the side of that hopper with a block in front of it. And you're going to place your block of choice right there, which is the ground level. And underneath it, you can place some redstone dust. Now on top of that comparator, I want you to place one block covering that up. And that's where you're going to add your redstone lamp. And the cool thing about that is the fact that that lamp's going to turn on every time you activate a minecart and when the minecart returns. So those two functions. Now, of course, at this point, guys, you can literally just cover up this section like so. And don't forget to place that button on the side. And on the side as well right there, because that's going to activate the power rail so you can fly off. Fantastic. Now at this point, guys, let's just cover this up. And if you want to, you delete this right over here. Let's get our solid blocks. Place it right there on each side so we can cover this up and not make it noticeable. And you're going to place your half slab right there on the side of that. Perfect. Now you can place a half slab or a solid block, either one. And that's where you can place your trap door, because you want to have full access to that dispenser. Perfect. And the great thing is, it's a great way to really restock your minecarts, especially if you don't have any. Now at this point, guys, we're going to create the water system that's going to transport the minecarts from the exit back to the entrance part. Okay? So we're going to show you how to make that first, and it's pretty simple. Now at this point, you're going to place one dropper facing forward towards that direction, and parallel to the actual train station itself, that exit point, you're going to place one hopper on top of it and one rail going towards the hopper. Then, of course, we're going to place one comparator right there. We're going to place a block right in front of it and two right there. One there and there as well. Place one redstone dust there, and a repeater going towards that block in front of us, like so. There you have it, guys. That's where you have the actual part that's going to shoot out. Fantastic. Now right here in the center, we're going to delete these blocks and we're going to replace it with blocks of ice. So we're going to fast forward that a little bit, get some ice, and pretty much extend it from one end down to the other. Fantastic. Then you're going to place some blocks on the side to prevent any water from coming out. Put some blocks there, place some blocks over here as well, and extend that right across. Now, I want to show you how to actually set up the whole water system. Now, all you have to do, let's cover this up as well, is get your bucket of water, place one water source right there, and it's going to flow straight across. Now you're going to place a half slab right there, but just make sure the half slab is on the top part of the block, because that's going to allow items to slide right underneath. And once you've done that, you're going to place, once again, a bucket of water in front, and repeat that all the way down to the end. So you should have this kind of layout. Now I want to show you how to set it up with the hopper system. Now, the hoppers do take some resource because you're going to need a lot of iron, but you have that option. Now place one dropper all the way at the end and place a row of hoppers in a straight line towards it. Fantastic. Now, the cool thing about this one is we don't need no redstone. So you're of course going to place it all the way down till you get parallel to the track and one hopper right on top, and that's it. Now in both systems, don't forget to place your block and your sand parallel to the top hopper with a cactus. Now you could place a half slab on top to prevent it from growing, or you could actually place one piece of carpet, which I like it. It looks a little more neater and it's a little more discreet. Now at this point, guys, you could literally cover up the floor and decorate it any which way you want. So feel free to pause at this point and just kind of put your own style to it. Fantastic. Now once you put your style to it and you label it, you should have this kind of format. See? Now the system is pretty much good to go. Now guys, if you plan on making this bigger than 14 different locations, you got to set up the repeaters a certain way underneath. I'm going to explain that in more depth. Now right here in this first line of redstone dust, you're going to place a repeater going inwards. Okay, they're going to be facing the center of the design. Whereby on the opposite end, right over here, the repeaters are facing outwards, which are the complete opposite direction. So bear that in mind when you're making this larger than 14 tracks, okay? Now another thing to keep in mind, make sure you place the repeaters in between the tracks, you see? Right in this section in between, not underneath the actual section. Otherwise, it's not going to activate that specific section. You don't want it to mess up the system. Now for the reset system, you're going to want to place the repeaters going inwards again towards the center. Okay, everything is pretty much focused on the middle blue line that we saw earlier. Okay, see that blue line? Everything is focused on the center piece of this design. So when you go on the opposite end, you got to place the repeaters in the opposite direction, going towards the center. You see? So over here, these repeaters will be facing the centerpiece of this direction. Whereby these repeaters will be facing the opposite, going outwards, okay? So just bear that in mind when you're making a larger system and how many sections you plan on making it, which I explained and kind of showed you earlier how to set that up, alright? See, that's the centerpiece. So just keep that in mind when you're making this larger. That's very important, guys. Especially with this specific design. But once you've done that, guys, the design is complete. I want to thank everybody for watching. If you could please leave a comment and subscribe. Thank you.